Welcome everyone, my name's Dom and I am a macOS user. I am a hardcore macOS user and don't get me wrong now, Windows guys. I've ran Windows basically my entire life. It wasn't until about 3 years ago that I made the switch over to macOS. Everything I know about computers, I learned on a PC. But I'm a software engineer by day and I make these goofy little videos at night. And, well, I'm an iPhone user as well. So it just all kind of seemed to happen that way. But don't worry, this isn't a video about Microsoft and Mac OS and which one's better and butting heads and all. No, no, no. It's nothing like that, I promise. You could find those videos, thousands of them, all over YouTube. No, this video is for those people who use Mac OS to do any kind of productivity work, any kind of creative work, anything that you would consider a hobby or a job specifically for macOS. And while there's lots and lots of videos about the perks of macOS and tips and tricks for macOS, this is something that macOS does that Windows can do too, but something that Mac does that it's just great. And I wanted to make this video to kind of talk about what it is. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, Apple, as we all know, totes Mac as the easy-to-use computer. It's simple and quick and elegant and yeah, all that other stuff. There's lots of things that Mac OS doesn't do. It doesn't play games very well. You can blame that on DirectX or whatever it is that you want to blame it on. You can say that Mac OS doesn't have all of the best applications that are out there, and this is true. A lot of applications are made for Windows. Windows has the majority of the computer market and the home PC market, but Mac OS is truly more simple in ways that once you find out, once you see, once you experience, you start to really realize just how easy a lot of the more technical things like printers and networking and all those other scary kind of terms that you'd normally get problems with on PC, and you end up finding that they're incredibly easy to do on macOS. And one of those great things that macOS does is what I want to talk about today, and that would be network drives. I know, nothing exciting, I get that, but that is something that I think a lot of people are getting more and more into. Now, traditionally, you'll see people use these things called NASs. It's an NAS, a network attached storage that you basically just put a bunch of hard drives in and you put it on your network, and suddenly all this storage is available to all the devices on your network. And that's a great traditional way to do it. Now, you can turn a Windows machine and into a NAS, basically plug a bunch of hard drives into it and put it on your network and share the drives, right? Simple enough. macOS also has this feature, but macOS does it in a very, very interesting way that I really think makes the whole idea of it a lot more simple. So this here is my late 2014 Mac Mini. It cost me about $400. It's got an i7 in it, it's got 16 gigs of RAM, and it's small. It doesn't use a lot of power. It's got 4 USB 3 ports and 2 Thunderbolt 2 ports, but that's not what's super important here. What's super important is the one thing I just said. It's small, it's compact, and as with any computer, you can plug in a bunch of hard drives and ta-da, you have a network storage device. That being said, the one thing that makes Mac OS's experience with network storage devices a little bit different is that with hard drives and with storage, for Windows, you have drive letters, right? A through Z and so on and so forth. And you'll see when you're going to access files, certainly you've seen, C:// and then a bunch of words and a bunch of slashes to get to your file path. Mac OS has this too. The slashes are the opposite way, but it starts in this one folder called volumes. You see, in Mac OS, it doesn't have drive letters associated to all the drives. Instead, all of the drives are put into a folder in the very, very root directory. So if you looked at your folder structure and you were to go up and up and up and up and up all the way to the top folder, eventually you're going to get to one called volumes. And in there you'll see all of the drives that are attached. But what's interesting about Mac OS is when you attach a network storage to another Mac, it ends up putting it into the volume folder, as with all the rest of your volumes, with the exact same name that the drive is named on the target Mac, the Mac where the network drive is attached to. What's interesting about this is, in essence, it implies that no matter which Mac you use, no matter where you use it, even if the hard drive is moved from the NAS to another Mac, the folder structure is the same without any additional setup, without any additional thought or configuration. No, it's just the same. Now, I do a lot of Premiere work for this channel, and between the podcast and everything like that, it's tough to manage assets. I mean, any big YouTuber will tell you that's really tough. You have lots and lots of files and lots of folders, and any change in those configurations will make a Premiere project just blow up. You got to go relocate all your assets. And when you're trying to work across multiple machines, because I have my laptop and I have this guy right back here, this iMac, what you end up finding is that the folder location stuff matters. And when you use macOS and you use this particular feature of macOS, it's basically the exact same folder structure on every single computer. And it's really easy to set up. As a matter of fact, I just link them off to the side here. And then what I'll do is I go ahead and I go onto my network. I find the drive on the computer. Well, I find the computer, then I find the drive. And then I just go ahead and connect. And as long as you have the username and password, presumably your username and password would be the same on multiple devices. Or if it's not, you can create a user on the target machine or whatever it is that you have to do. But you click it and you're in. And once you're in, the volume is just there. It's just attached. As a matter of fact, if you save the password, you can just, like I said, you can put it on the side, you click it, and bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. It just works. I mean, that's really all there is to it. It's interesting, right? Because if I were to ever upgrade the Mac Mini to something more robust, if I wanted to use it as an encoding server, or I needed to do a lot more traffic were to hit it, right? Well, I could just upgrade it, and I don't have to change any of the drive letters. I don't have to worry about the format. I don't have to worry about anything that I might have to on other systems. And that is peace of mind. So if you're anything like me, or you live in a small place, these little Mac Minis you can find on eBay for super cheap, and file management over network doesn't require a whole lot of processing power or memory for that matter. Now, if you have 20, 30 people hitting the thing at once and you're running 4K assets, yeah, you might have a little bit of a problem. But if it's you and maybe a friend, or just you across a couple different devices, you're not going to have any problems. And again, it's almost like magic. I hate to say, yeah, it's basically kind of just like magic. It just works. And when you're thinking about network storage, I immediately think Windows, and I immediately think how precise you can get with your network storage and all the different configurations. But at the end of the day, if all I have to do on any Mac is just find the device on the network and then click the drive, and I can open up any Premiere project, any After Effects project, anything, even if it's like code, the file directories are the same. I actually have another device here that I don't know if you can see that. I'm not looking at the camera screen right now, so I have no idea if I'm in focus or if you could see that shiny tin can thing back there. That's a 2013 Mac Pro, the cursed Mac Pro with the dual GPUs, and everybody hated. I actually picked one of these guys up recently. Now, it's a little more expensive than a Mac Mini, but if you're doing YouTube videos specifically, or if you're running virtual machines, but I'll get into that in a second, that is a great investment. It has a Xeon processor, it supports 64 gigs of RAM, and it has dual GPUs. Now, if you can manage to get your hands on one and, for an affordable price, I actually use that Mac Pro to run my VMs that I use for work, for running different environments. A VM is a virtual machine. I can basically have it's like a application that would run, that has Windows in it. So if I need to run something on Windows, I can run it on Windows. If I need to run something on something like Linux or another Mac OS, I can do that without having to have an additional computer. And that's great. It has the memory and the processing power to be able to do all that. In addition, I also have Adobe Media Encoder loaded on there, and between the Xeon processor and the GPUs, when the GPUs are needed for rendering, that is, I can just dump all my projects off on from my Mac onto the Mac Pro, render everything up, and wow, now I don't have to bog down my iMac. I can work on a different project while the Mac Pro is doing all the rendering and uploading it to YouTube automatically if I so choose, and all the other fancy things that Media Encoder does that are great but also weird and drive me crazy, and watch folders don't work, all that. I don't even want to get at all that now. It seems like it's such a simple thing. It seems like it's such a basic thing. It seems like it's what? Network storage. But it does matter. And as I said, the ability to take those drives and put them into any other Mac, turn on sharing, and it's the exact same file structure. You never have to worry about drive letters. You never have, as long as you don't change the volume name. I mean, that's basically changing the drive letter, but rather than A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you're limited to those letters, you could make the drive whatever you want. You know, in essence, it becomes a label for whatever those assets are. If you're running websites, if you're running Premiere projects, whatever it is that you're running, well, you're good to go. And every single Mac that you mount that drive onto will work the same for the most part. I haven't found a scenario where it hasn't worked the same. And that's about it. Not a whole lot to it, guys. I really hope that you found this informative. I really hope that it helps. I really hope that somebody out there can use this to their advantage, because yeah, Macs are expensive, but when it comes to making sure that all of your source assets and everything that you've worked on, possibly over many, many years, is safe and secure. Not to mention, I forgot this one last thing too, Time Machine, which is a wonderful thing, but I'll do a video on Time Machine later and all the wonderful things that macOS's Time Machine can do. But attaching Time Machine to your assets, it's amazing. But I'll go ahead and get out of your face now and end this video. I hope you liked it, guys. Definitely be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more stuff like this, and definitely check out some of my other videos. I have complete reviews, and there's a podcast floating around somewhere. I don't know where the card will pop up. It doesn't matter. And yeah, guys, take it easy. See you around.